All right. Thank you guys. Welcome to the first episode of Finding Success with Steven Franco. We've got Maxine Orange with us today. Maxine Orange Bern, better known. And
both. I'm known as both.
Both. But anyways, we've got Maxine, who is a dear friend here along the Emerald Coast. Maxine's an artist. She's a curator, and she is a active board member with the Maddie Kelly Arts Foundation. Today's episode is really going to focus in on art and culture and what we can do to really promote this on the Emerald Coast. Maxine, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, what I wanted to do first, Maxine, is kind of talk with you about, I guess in the first part we talked about as an artist, and just, how you came into this, how you become active on the coast, and, we can talk about a few of the things that I've had the chance to see your work and where you've been, but start with yourself as an artist.
So I have just always been a creative person. I am grateful that all my parents and my grandparents gave me opportunities and education that led me to a creative career. It was just what I naturally fell into as I explored myself and, living in the Southeast where we both came from. And so through college and junior high school and all the places along the way, I always ended up going to the creative type things, music, dance, art. And then I ended up with a major in graphic design, and I've had a career as a graphic designer before I moved here, and I've done a lot of freelance work with that as well. But I've always painted, and I have luckily found some success with that recently with my abstract bridal portraits. I've explored a lot of different avenues as an artist, which all the things that I've learned along the way, I love to share with other artists to help them find success in these things as well. So with that being said, I have explored some of, being a part of some of the galleries here in the area, doing some of the shows like the Maddie Kelly Arts Festival of the Arts, which is in the fall, and Arts Quest through the Cultural Arts Alliance in the spring for the past few years, and some of the other shows around the area. But those two are my favorite because they're right here at home.
Sure.
And they're great shows. I have also had partnerships with Ann Hunter. Last year I had a show with her at her gallery in Seaside, and as well as Alma Vita coffee shops through her as well, out in Rosemary and in Panama City. And then last year we were also talking about the Underwater Museum, which was an amazing thing that I took part in. Being able to be one of the artists chosen to create one of the sculptures for the Underwater Museum of Art was an honor and a great challenge.
Yeah, let's pause on that because I want to ask you about those two things, because I actually had the experience of seeing your work with Ann Hunter in Seaside, which is a really neat event that I went to that you were doing, and then that underwater statue. Tell us more about that, what you did with Maurice, because that was a really interesting thing.
Maurice Hunter, is he a member here? Yes, he is another member here at Beachworks. He has a organization and a movement that is all about self-love, and he reached out to me during the application process when I had considered doing something for that Underwater Museum application, but I just kind of held off on it. I shared the post on Facebook, and he reached out to me to ask, would you collaborate with me on this? And so I was like, yeah, I'll throw something together. We can send in an application, see what happens. And so we got our application in, and then we were accepted, and then we had to figure out how to create the sculpture that we submitted. So, but with that being said, I designed it with no boundaries, as you know, artists tend to do on occasion. I just created something really cool, and then we had to figure out how to make it. And of course, it did turn out to be a little bit different than what we had originally submitted. But I pulled together a collaboration, a team of sorts of all different types of people that could help me with different things. Velia Lala was another local artist that cast my body from waist up, from here to here, and then created the mold of my body in concrete. And then Eric Shackelford and Kyler Fitch helped me with the metal portion, which was like the dress that we created. And so the message of the sculpture was love thyself, and she's standing in front of a mirror. And if you are scuba diving, so you have to scuba dive to get to the underwater museum.
And where is the underwater museum? Where's it located?
It is about a mile off of Grayton Beach, 60 feet deep under the water. Last year, they put down 7 sculptures. In the first year, they put down 10 sculptures. And then this year, they just announced the new artists that are going to be doing their sculptures this year. I believe there's 7 more. So that's very exciting. I was excited to see those, but I was like, I did not apply this year because I had to take a little year off from that, but I may do one again in the future.
That was a really, cool thing. I mean, to see, I don't think you can appreciate this until you've seen it, but they created a statue that is 60 feet below water, a mile out of the Gulf of Mexico, in which scuba divers can see. And also, and isn't that some of the things one of the other charities around here is doing, where they take the
it's the reef, the
yes,
South Walton
yes.
Artificial Reef Association,
yes.
and the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County did this whole thing together to create, like basically if you swim out in the Gulf and you look at the bottom, it's basically like sand flats. There's no coral growing anywhere or anything like that. So these sculptures are producing more things growing underwater so that there can be stuff for the sea life to interact with.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of a really cool.
In so many words.
Yeah, but a really cool way to tie some of the environmental concerns that they have around here, and in terms of that stuff, and tying art into that. That was really interesting.
And
thing.
Additionally, it was something that pushed me so far outside of my comfort zone as an artist, which is something that, in the time that it's happening, you hate it, but looking back on it, it's like the best thing ever.
Oh, that's great.
I enjoy being uncomfortable.
That's awesome. That's good. So let me ask you this. Sorry. So the art. So again, covering Maxine the artist. Now let's talk about you as a curator. I had the pleasure of actually meeting Maxine when we built out Beachworks, and it was ironic in how we met. We actually were introduced by people we did not have a connection, based on someone that saw Maxine's artwork, and then we found out after Maxine and I met each other that we have close mutual friends that go back to childhood and college and things like that. So we developed a good friendship, and from that, Maxine took on another project called Artworks, and Artworks is where we have local artists featured all over our walls here at Beachworks, and it's a gallery that she changes up about every 6 months. But why don't you tell us about Artworks, sort of the idea behind it as an artist and for the artist, and then what are the plans for 2020?
So I recently posted something on Artworks Instagram page that was saying that Artworks is kind of like an artist, where it's still growing and figuring out its own creative journey.
Yeah.
Because as artists, we're all on a creative journey, and being that this was something that we just created, we don't have any rules, and it can always change, and it's growing, and we're learning along the way.
Right.
And so the artwork that's currently here was the third round of beach work. So we're going into the 4th round coming up at the end of February. So I'm working on that right now, getting some plans in place, and in addition to that, hoping to add some things that are more community centric for the artists, where we can really have a little bit more of a community vibe with the artworks program, and possibly do some give back type of things with the art, and some other fun stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. Tell me about your involvement in Maddie Kelly Arts Foundation, and what they're doing, what your goals are there.
Well, I'm excited to be a board member for the 2nd year, and this year is going to be really exciting because it's the 25th anniversary of Maddie Kelly Arts Foundation, and so there's a lot of fun and exciting things going on throughout the year. There's a very strong board this year. It just seems like we've got a lot of strong board members there that we're going to make some good stuff happen, and including Andy.
Yeah, Andy Poveda is on the board. Let me throw it out. Beachworks gets a plug. Go ahead, sorry.
And I just really feel like the goal and mission of a lot of the things that I have really align with what Maddie Kelly's all about, and so I was just drawn to that, and so I'm glad to be a part of it, and I look forward to seeing where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, one thing my personal input to Maddie Kelly and to Marcia last year and others is, I think a lot of times people here on the coast, they think too small. They think about just regionally, and I think when you can think outside the box and really look at other places, other communities, how they've enhanced their communities through art and culture, and supporting our local artists and the theme of art and the beach and things here, but also bringing other art and other culture with art to our community are some interesting things.
Which is one great thing that we do with the concerts and all that kind of stuff, and with the outreach programs. They're always bringing in these so a lot of people don't really know that about the outreach program, because it's not really like a public event for people to attend, but like if you attend the concerts, if you attend the Festival of the Arts, the money that you're contributing, and if you're a member, the money that you're contributing goes towards the outreach programs, which is providing art programs for kids in schools, and schools that might not have art programs anymore, kids that are in underprivileged areas where they don't ever get to go see a play or a musical or anything like that. And so Maddie Kelly brings this to them, and a lot of people don't see that.
Yeah, that's really neat. One of the things for Maddie Kelly that one of my goals will be, Maxine asked me a long time ago, we still haven't figured out how to do it. She said, would I ever build, through my real estate business, would I ever build studios for artists? And the first thought in my mind was, hell no. When I'm being sarcastic, how do you pay for a bunch of starving artists on a month-to-month space?
Yeah, good luck.
Like Beachworks. But we actually
doing it for business people.
But we do have some ideas in the future that, honestly, one of the things I'd like to do from you, kind of stirring that pot with me, is there are some redevelopments and some types of properties we could do, and that could be some things coming down the road too, where we can create flexible, affordable, really cool artist studios where artists can work.
Yeah.
And one of my goals is to try to tie that into, as we've talked, where you can create the art, have it higher end event sort of space where Maddie Kelly or someone could do the functions and so forth, tied in with like an artist market, kind of like a golf place artist market. That's my goal, for whatever it's worth. If anybody,
seeds have been planted.
If anybody actually cares, let me check one thing here, because John keeps a terrible thing.
That's one of those conversations that's changing always.
Always. So we got a couple minutes left. Let me ask you, kind of summarizing it all. Goals for 2020. We talked about artworks starting in a new gallery in March. We've talked the Maddie Kelly Arts Foundation, their 25th anniversary. What do you want? 2 minutes if you had to. You got an audience out there. Impact for the Emerald Coast, call to action. What do you want to have happen?
I hope that people will come visit this space and check out the artwork. We will be having a call to artists soon here. We're going to start having like I mentioned, a community creative artist artworks event on a regular basis. So once I post that information, hopefully it's going to be very soon. Artists, please come join us and send the information to your other friends that are creatives and come out and join the party. And we can all help each other. There's room for all of us to succeed and to hold hands and help each other find that success in every way that we possibly can. I feel like I have to remind myself a lot of like the things that I've done previously, because I get that like weird like, oh, who am I to tell all these people what to do? But like I have to remind myself where I come from, because I get that like imposter syndrome or whatever you call it. But and so you have to do that too sometimes.
Yeah, we all do.
Anybody
Yeah,
else?
everybody. Yeah, of course.
Sit down at the beginning of the year and write down what you did last year to remind yourself, like, yeah, I achieved all this. Like, just that underwater museum of art, that was a big on-taking. And
Well, no, that's a huge one.
And that's one thing that I plan to do in the spring is to get scuba certified, so I can go check it out and see what all that growth down there. But I just hope that I want to be, or I humbly hope to be known as a creative pillar of the community.
Well, you are, and I can tell you guys, Maxine is doing more than anyone I've met, honestly, and that's a compliment to you. Honestly, it's
Thanks.
a compliment.
It's a balancing act per se.
Yeah, to promote art and culture along this coast. It really is. It's an important part of the fabric here, and this is a great story today, because with the show, what we want to do is we really try to tie into like the idea of finding success, and like we've said many times now, success comes in many different forms, and it's different for different people. But this is really a great episode, because I'm hoping we're going to touch an audience in the art community. Hopefully we'll have some artists listening to this and other folks that want to become involved. So thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. See ya.